Today we will discuss about the descending analgesia system. To understand the descending analgesia system, we have discussed about the ascending pathways. This is also a little bit necessary, though the discussion was meant only for the pain. But why we discussed a little bit about the dorsal column lemniscal system, which takes in the brain only the touch, fine touch, and the vibration sense, and those fast moving impulses coming from the skin or the joints to the brain. So these A beta fibers or A alpha fibers, which will enter the spinal cord through the trunk and the root to the dorsal root ganglion, and from where the central process of the action that enters the spinal cord and that ascends upwards through the dorsal column lemniscal system pathway. They also send, we have discussed earlier, a tweak, lateral tweak to the spinal cord. And the importance also to be discussed now. We know that the fibers from the like A delta or C fibers, those pain fibers, they also enter into the spinal cord. Similarly, through the dorsal root ganglion, being the nerve cell body of the first order neuron, they enter, then they make a local tract, the tract of Lisieux, and they terminate, they end up in the substantia gelatinosa or the lamina 2, also in the lamina 1 and lamina 5. From where the second order neuron, we have discussed, they start and they cross the midline and ascend in the lateral or the ventral, this ventrolateral spinothalamic tract. From the ventrolateral spinothalamic tract, those nerve fibers, they will ascend through the medulla and through the pons, through the midbrain, and finally to end in the VPL of the ventroposterolateral nucleus of the thalamus. They also send some information to different parts in the reticular system or also some other nucleus. While going up from the VPL, they also, the third order neuron, they starts and through the posterior limb of the internal capsule, they will ascend and they will reach different parts of the brain in an organized manner, like the fibers coming from the legs and lower limbs, they will come to this part, and fibers from the upper limb, they will come to that part, so that to maintain a homunculus. They also have some connections of informations which are sent to the special clusters of neurons, so these cell bodies, it is called insula, or they also send some information to these cells which is called anterocingulate cortex, so that the emotional and also the autonomic response and the self-awareness, these things are also necessary to understand the pain and for the subsequent behavior. Now, what does these fibers which came through the A beta fibers, like while we have any injury, we immediately rub that area, and so the pain is reduced. How it happens? The nerve fibers, when the pain is going through the C or A delta, and similarly, if the same area, the A beta is stimulated with little bit of fine touch, light touch or massage, then this fiber is stimulated and this lateral tweak is also stimulated, action potential goes down there, and these actually stimulate the inhibitory neurons. There are inhibitory interneurons, and so this inhibitory interneurons, not only they will dampen, they will not allow the neurotransmitters, the transmitters which are attached to the postsynaptic membrane, so they will not allow to have a beneficial or facilitation or the stimulation of the second order neuron. This is how the pain is inhibited, and this occurs at the spinal cord at the substantia gelatinosa, and this is the basis of the gate control theory. Now the inhibition of the pain can be done at the spinal cord level by the stimulation of these large myelinated fibers. Also, the ascending fibers of the pain, as it goes to stimulate different parts of the brain stem and also the other structures. So what happens? These structures like reticular activating system, they also are stimulated and they send the information to the intrathalamic nuclei. From the intrathalamic nuclei also, then again the fiber reaches the cerebral cortex. And while informing about the incidence of this pain, of this sensory input, this reticular activating system, they also alerts multiple areas in the brain, and so that the appropriate measures can be taken to dampen the pain. And this is how, say for example, so we have a descending analgesia system, like what we have discussed, the anterocingulate cortex. That is the area where if the fibers coming from the pain that reaches, this causes some emotional component like the crying or the tearing comes. And this anterocingulate cortex also has some connections with some other parts. This area, this is just beside the ventricles, so it is called periventricular gray matter. So this periventricular nucleus, that has got tremendous role in modulation of the pain. Similarly, around the aqueduct also, there are periaqueductal gray. So this PAG and this periventricular gray, this system is very strong in initiating the descending control of the pain. And how? While the information went to the anterocingulate cortex, similarly there are afferent connections from the cingulate cortex to the periventricular gray, so that it also, apart from that emotional aspect, it also sends some feedback or information to the analgesia system so that the pain can be dampened. Similarly, it also, this anterocingulate cortex, that also have some direct stimulation or direct connections with the rostrum, this periaqueductal gray, and also at the rostral part of the and midline part of the medulla, the rostroventromedial medulla, this special group of nucleus, and this is called nucleus raphe. Raphe nucleus is there, which is at the rostroventral medulla part. So that they are also stimulated to initiate the analgesic system. Similarly, while the pain fibers itself went to the insula, that insula also, we know there is special structure like which is called amygdala. Amygdala is at the level of this temporal lobe, and this amygdala is near another area, that is hippocampus. This amygdala is the area which actually responsible for cognition, and this amygdala is stimulated. This amygdala gets information from the insula, and this amygdala then it sends the connections, the afferent connections from the amygdala, it comes to the PAG or the periaqueductal gray. So the PAG gets stimulated by both from the anterocingulate cortex, by the anterocingulate cortex, and also from the amygdala, and also directly also from the insula. So these stimulate the periaqueductal gray, and this periaqueductal gray is an area that is stimulated by so many structures. They also are stimulated by the fibers coming to this area. There is the reticular activating system. From the RAS also the periaqueductal gray is stimulated. So lots of information is coming to the periaqueductal gray areas, and which is stimulated, and also those areas of the periventricular gray, and this periventricular gray, when it is stimulated, this area, they stimulate some, the main descending analgesia system is this periaqueductal gray and rostroventral medulla. Now this is from the periaqueductal gray, there are informations going to the rostroventral medulla. So, and there are the substances which are liberated from this area, periaqueductal gray to the rostroventral area. One is GABA, and there are also lots of endorphins like enkephalins. So enkephalins are also secreted through these nerve fibers which are coming from the periaqueductal gray and towards and also the GABA to stimulate this nucleus raphe magnas or the midline nucleus near the ventral part of the medulla. From the ventral part of the medulla, there are lots of connections more also, like from the locus coeruleus. Locus coeruleus is a nearby structure and near the pons, and from the locus coeruleus also, this is basically adrenergic system. These noradrenalines, they also stimulate the periaqueductal gray. There are also other areas in the pons. From the pons also, there are noradrenaline secreting nerve fibers. And these noradrenaline secreting nerve fibers, they also stimulate either this RVM, rostroventral medulla, is RVM, or they also send directly to the spinal cord at the level of the substantia gelatinosa. So the norepinephrine also reaches there. And also from the rostroventral medulla, now we understand the this periventricular gray and periaqueductal gray, they all send the information to the rostroventral medulla through the liberating the GABA enkephalins primarily, so that this rostroventral medulla, this nucleus are prepared to secrete the inhibition to the dorsal root ganglia by 5-hydroxytryptamine or serotonin. So 5-hydroxytryptamine is secreted by this area, these nerve fibers, and also the norepinephrines are also secreted directly from the pons. So now what these fibers do at the level of the spinal cord, when they come, say if it is coming from the this half of the body, the 5-hydroxytryptamine or the norepinephrines, both are coming to the as the descending analgesia tract. So they will come here, and or these serotonins or 5-hydroxytryptamines, both are coming from upside to the down, and they will inhibit this pain in 4 ways. There are many interneurons also there. So these interneurons are both excitatory and also inhibitory. These excitatory neurons are dampened, or the inhibitory neurons, they are stimulated. So that these inhibitory neurons, they now secrete again the enkephalins and also some inhibitory neurotransmitters like GABA, glycine, all those things, which can either they make the first order neuron so that they insensitive, so that they will not send or they will not liberate the neurotransmitters, so the pain is controlled, or they will make the second order neuron insensitive, so that these glutamates or those stimulatory neurotransmitters will not stimulate the second order neuron. So this is how there is a descending analgesia system which is also initiated or stimulated in fact by the ascending system. So whenever there is pain, there is a natural system to control the pain also by the feedbacks from all other areas in the cerebral cortex, anterocingulate cortex, or the insula, or the reticular activating system, or even the locus coeruleus, which is also a noradrenergic system. So all they make the central descending pathway active, and so that they can dampen further the propagation of the pain from the first order neuron to second order neuron, mostly in the substantia gelatinosa, and also even in the lamina 1 or lamina 5. But most majority of the fibers, A delta and C fibers, terminate.